how to set up 2022 for maximum success. Now, before I even kick this off, I gotta let you guys know that I met with Stuart Sutton. Stuart is, here he's a fellow builder with us here at EXP, Mentorship Masters. And he and about 12 of his group members that he's brought into his group at EXP, we met for lunch yesterday. And he shared with us, by the way, Stuart is a big teacher and trainer, Stuart Sutton. For those of you that don't know, he does a incredible book of business. He was doing 20 million a year back in the 1990s. So he does an incredible book of business here locally, but he had some great things to share. And I committed myself to bring that to you guys. A couple of tips for setting up 2022 for maximum success. Realize that the actions that you take now will set up your 2022 for success. It's so important because you know that there's a little bit of a lag time when we take on a listing or we work with a buyer. There's a little bit of a lag time between the time that we take on the project and the time that we get paid. And the critical actions that you do right now will set you up for a phenomenal January, maybe even a phenomenal Christmas, okay? So start thinking right now about the things that you can do in your real estate practice to maximize your production. Now is the time to focus on your number one bucket, okay? Your number one bucket, which is your sphere of influence, And when we talk about sphere of influence, what I want you to think about is deciding what kind of Christmas or New Year's gift are you going to get over to your A list, okay? What gift are you going to be giving out? What Stuart talked about specifically was that he found a place that has just the most incredible macaroons on the planet. And so he's going to be giving his A list, okay, his top 100, if you will, his A list of customers, a box of those macaroons. And I think they're like $20 a box or $12. I can't remember the exact price. But it really doesn't matter what it is. But it could be a prayer. You offer them a prayer. In fact, this is quite interesting. My wife and I were at the farmers market this past weekend, and there was a gal there with a booth. She had all kinds of stuff. My wife bought a pair of earrings, but she had another part of her booth where she said, "Hey, I'll pray with you. I'm really good at prayer, and it's for free." So we said, "Hey, can you pray for us?" And she just pulled us aside and she had a prayer with it. And that was kind of her gift that she was given. So don't worry about what it is, but just determine in your mind that you want to figure out what can you do that's special for your A list. Begin a campaign to reach out to your A list and find out what they need. So for example, you've got about 90 days, October, November, December, you got about 90 days. So if you've got 100 people, just call one a day or two a day, whatever, or three a day till you just get through them. But reach out to your A list because you really want to set up right now. This is when you're going to set up 2022. So make sure you do the work. And then the other thing I want to mention is that you want to anchor your calling into a higher purpose. I actually write about that here in Success with Listings. So those of you that have the book Success with Listings, I'd have to go through here and find exactly where I have it. But I talk about this whole concept of anchoring your goals or your calling into a higher purpose. Anchoring your goals into a higher purpose. So one of our mentorship masters, what she's actually doing is she's going to the Humane Society and she's going to be featuring like a pet of the month, and all her marketing and everything that she does, she's going to be putting on this pet of the month. I think this month it's Bella is the dog that she's trying to get adopted out. And she's particularly looking for those that have taken a long time to be adopted, the ones that nobody wants. And she's every month going to feature a new animal. And so that's just her higher purpose. That's what she's doing. So read that whole section on anchoring your goals into a higher purpose, because that will make your phone calls to your sphere of influence easier to make, okay? The other thing I want to mention is that you want to write down your big goal for 2022. This is an exercise that Stuart had us do, and I thought it was great. It was a fun exercise, and it was very effective. So here's the idea. Take a sheet of paper. You don't have to do this now, but take a sheet of paper and write down what is your big goal for 2022. What do you really want to accomplish in 2022? Whatever that big goal is, write it down, fold up the sheet of paper and put it into an envelope, okay? And you're not permitted to open the envelope until December 31st, 2022. So, I put a big goal of what I want to do. And so December 31st, I'm going to open that envelope and I'm going to match it up with, okay, what did we actually do? And that was my goal. So I thought that was a fun exercise. And then the last thing I want to mention is, Stuart gave us a copy of the book, Your One Word. And the whole theme of it was, so Stuart actually, what he does is he writes out about 300 goals per year, that he wants to achieve, 300 goals a year. Can you imagine writing down 300 goals every single year? But that's what Stuart does. And so he's just that kind of guy. And so he was telling us that this year he wrote down 300 goals and he's already achieved 172 of those goals. Okay. So but his wife was like, look, I'm not writing down no 300 goals. So she found this book called Your One Word. And she said, now this is the kind of book I can get. This is the kind of plan I can do, which is basically you create a one word for the year. And that would be your theme word. So it might be caring, or it might be love, or respect, or patience, whatever your one word is. And then that would be your theme word for 2022. So that's another exercise that I think, will really help us set up our 2022 the right way. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, some ideas on setting up 2022. Again, do not negate and do not deflect from the responsibility of reaching out to your SOI, because a lot of times either you or the agents that you have in your group, what we do is we come up with all kinds of creative concepts and ideas to busy work to do so that we can get out of doing the one thing that really will move the needle, and that's reaching out to our SOI. So make sure that you're doing that and doing it effectively.